Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Over 100 episodes, almost 40 different ethnic backgrounds, living in almost 30 different countries. In just 2 seasons, the Niqabi Diaries podcast has brought you the stories of Muslim women across the globe, women united in sisterhood by their commitment to the Deen of Islam. Welcome to Season 3 of the Niqabi Diaries podcast, where, inshallah, we will continue to bring you the stories of the women behind the veil. The Niqabi Diaries, our experiences, our perspectives, our voices. I'm your host, Samar, and thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of the Niqabi Diary Season 3. Alhamdulillah, we have another sister with us today. Sister, could you please introduce yourself for the listeners and tell us a little bit about yourself, inshallah?
All right, thank you so much, sister. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Alice Makawa, and I am a Zimbabwean. I am currently living in the Gambia, and I am a mom of 3, alhamdulillah, and I am also a Niqabi, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, sister, tabarakallah. So, sister, could you tell us a little bit about your Islamic background, inshallah, and let us know how you got to be wearing the niqab?
When I was born in an Islamic family, and unfortunately, my parents were not practicing as I was in my early years, like in my infantry. So I started really, going to madrasa even at 10 years old, and at that point, I didn't even understand anything, I was just a child. And after that, I did have, my mom did try to bring me up, in a modest way, like, dressing up in long dresses or skirts, but I wasn't wearing hijab during my teenage years when I became baligh. So it was quite a difficult transition at that time, but I understood why I needed to wear the hijab to start with. So I did start wearing hijab, I think around 15 years of age. And I became baligh like 2 years before that. So no hijab because I was still a teenager, and I just had my idea of hijab in my head. So I would just wear like maybe, as long as something is long, I felt I was okay. So I did cover my head and I did cover my body. But as years progressed, I also grew spiritually as a person. And my mom would always try and instill in me that you have to wear, loose clothing and all that. And I did try. When I was now like my late teenage years, I started wearing the abaya, the loose dressing, and alhamdulillah, it felt nice. So as I progressed as well, I got married. I started learning Islam, furthering my Islamic knowledge, and I just felt compelled to, you know, um, wear a better hijab. So I called it. So I then saw one of my friends. They had gone to learn Islam, and they came back and they were wearing niqab, and the way they were wearing it, it felt like it was really inspiring because it felt like she owned it, she felt she was more confident than when she didn't have it, and she just looked so comfortable in it, and I really felt like it's something that I wanted to try. So the first time I actually wore it, I was still attending my, the on-site university in my local country. And I did try to go to campus wearing it, but I did not end up getting to campus with it. But I did walk in town with it, and it felt nice, alhamdulillah. I just, at that point, did not feel comfortable with people looking at me because back home where I come from in Zimbabwe,
Mm-hmm.
Basically, after that day when I tried to wear it for the first time, I did inform my my Islamic teacher at the time. I was going to a local Islamic madrasa there where I was learning Quran Tajweed. So I then told her about my experience with niqab, and she just she has niqab, she had niqabs, and though she wasn't wearing them, she then gave me one of them. And I was so excited because the one she gave me was sort of like more comfortable, because the first one I tried to wear was a bit uncomfortable because I just tried to make a makeshift niqab with my hijab.
Oh,
So
mashallah.
I was quite excited to have it and to wear it now. I was trying to decide when exactly to start wearing it because it didn't really go well with me the first time. So I was now trying to find like a comfortable setting where I can wear it to. So there were these Islamic lessons that we were having at the time. They were like dawah lessons, and I thought, okay, maybe I can wait to that lesson. At least it's an Islamic setting, and maybe people would understand better when I'm wearing the niqab. And I didn't really know exactly the proper way of wearing it, so I kind of just strapped it onto my head. But when I got there, it's like I felt uncomfortable because it was like people were looking at me, but sort of like kind of making fun of me to an extent because I wasn't wearing it properly, and it kind of made me feel uncomfortable. But
Mm.
anyways, I did try to then ask, okay, how am I supposed to wear it now? And then they fixed it nicely for me, and it was nice and comfortable, and it looked nice. I loved it.
Alhamdulillah.
But now I wasn't yet used to talking in the pub. So I then realized that, okay, when I'm actually talking, like, for example, when the sheikh was talking and maybe would ask questions and I want to respond to the questions, I now had to speak a bit louder than I
Yes.
was speaking because they can't see my lip movements.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I was I was trying to adjust to that, and I did try to speak louder and it went well, Alhamdulillah. It was a better day, but still I put it on hold after that time. Until we went for, Alhamdulillah, we had a chance to go for Hajj, me and my husband.
Alhamdulillah.
And Alhamdulillah. And on the day of going, I did go to the airport without niqab.
Mm-hmm.
And we were living from different points, me and my husband. So I was living from my mom's house and he slept at a friend's place closer to the airport. So when he saw me in the airport without niqab, he was asking, why are you not wearing niqab? I mean, we're going to Saudi. Why are you not wearing niqab? So I was just like, okay, I guess I have to wear it now. So I had it close by because I knew that was going to happen. So I did take it out and
Mm-hmm.
I will. I actually wasn't wearing a big burqa at the time, so I took out my, the big burqa and the
Yes.
niqab, and I wore it. So
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, it felt nice at that time because I was the only woman in the group, so I really felt more safe and comfortable, in a group of men. Even though my husband was there, but the niqab just added extra
Of course.
comfortability because
Definitely.
yes.
Alhamdulillah. So how was your traveling experience been in general? Because it sounds like you've been to a few different places. What's that been like, going through the airport with the niqab on?
Yeah, so now traveling from Zimbabwe to Saudi at that time, it was, I would say, I sort of like expected that type of treatment. They did request me to remove my niqab, and I did at some point ask them to maybe give me a female attendant, and then I'll just lift it up for them to verify with my passport, because my passport has my picture without hijab, because back home in Zimbabwe they don't want us to take with the hijab on. I did try to force them to take, but it's like part of like the standards, and
Mm-hmm.
I have to show my ears and stuff
Yes,
like that.
yes,
So I
yes.
ended up removing it. So whenever I get to an airport now, they want to, make sure that I'm the same person because I don't have hijab on
SubhanAllah.
the
Yeah,
passport. So they
this is
request me
one of the things
to
that
lift it up.
I really don't like that about, like, because it's the same with me. Like when I had to do my Ghana passport, it was the same thing. They make you show
Mm,
your ears. And I just think that's
mm-hmm.
so weird because it's just like people, you see other people coming with no hijab, but they've got like a wig on or their hair is covering their ears and they don't make them show
Exactly.
their
And they don't
ears.
request them
Yeah.
to show their ears.
So it's just like, why do we need to show our ears, but other people don't need to show their ears? It doesn't make any sense. It's
It
ridiculous.
doesn't. And also like the fact that you are not always like that all the time. So
Exactly.
if it is an identification document, you have to be identified as how you move around because I move
Exactly.
around in now in niqab and hijab at least. So they should at least allow us to take with the hijab on because that is how we are identified around. Like
Exactly.
they'll never see us without the hijab on.
Exactly.
So
SubhanAllah.
it's quite
It's
weird that they
silly.
do
It's
things
really
that way.
silly that they do that. And it's annoying
Yeah,
as well, like especially
yeah.
subhanAllah, when you've got your hijab on, because like when you have to take your ears out, you end up messing up your whole hijab, because you're having to show your ears and stuff, and it's a lot of fussing around. And
Mm-hmm.
then in my experience, well, they're trying to rush you at the same time, so it's like they want you to do all of this stuff,
Yes.
but then they're not having any patience with you that you can take your time and do it.
Exactly. They don't have patience. And it's like if you don't do it, you have lost the chance of taking it that day. So in my case, it was really like a pressure environment where
Mm.
they take the pictures of the passport and everyone is trying to rush you and now everyone was now looking at me in the room. Oh, let's see like how is she going to react now? So it's just unnecessarily uncomfortable and
Yes.
pressurizing.
No, subhanallah. SubhanAllah. So what else happened at the airport?
Okay, so when we go to it wasn't really too when I requested for the female attendant, it was comfortable after that, and Alhamdulillah, we went on. It was okay traveling with the niqab, and when I got to Saudi, it was really I don't know, the feeling was just amazing, especially when I got to Masjid al-Haram and I saw, the female police. They were wearing I couldn't see their skin at all. Like I couldn't see their hands, their feet. I couldn't see anything. Their eyes, everything was covered, and I was so motivated. I was like, wow. And the thing that stood out for me is just the confidence that they walked around, the way they carry themselves around. It's not like they're trying to, oh, I'm covered, so I'm, they were so confident in themselves. And when they are instructing you to do something, they're saying it with so much authority. And I really admired that because it
Mhm.
showed that they were proud to be dressed that way. And
Alhamdulillah.
they were totally comfortable in it. And that is really what stood out for me. So I was really inspired after that. I was like, you know what? When I get home, I am going to continue this. I'm going to continue wearing niqab. So the whole time I was moving around in Saudi, I had my niqab on, and even back home, traveling back home, I had my niqab on. The same thing happened as well at the airport. I I did I had a female attendant in Zimbabwe. And Alhamdulillah, it worked out well, and I got home. But now the challenge now was now going home to my hometown and my home where I live with the niqab on, because when I got married, I moved to another city away from my hometown. So in my hometown, people know me as a Muslim. I wear hijab,
Mhm.
but they didn't know me as a niqabi.
Yes.
And I felt uncomfortable at that time to wear the niqab because now people were looking at me, really weirdly. And it's like, oh my God, like they will look at you like you are not, you're trying to, you're better than everyone else. Like if you think you're better, you think you're better spiritually than all of us. Even among the Islamic sisters, I would feel that way as well. Because then it would be like, it's like you're different, but I didn't
Yes.
understand that part because I'm like, I mean, we're Muslims and you know that some Muslim ladies wear niqab. I mean, why am I feeling uncomfortable
Mhm.
amongst other Muslims? So it was really uncomfortable. So I would find myself taking it off when I go to my hometown because of that, just because of that. But when I'm in my place where I live with my husband, I was more comfortable to wear it there. I think mostly because there was a more stronger Islamic community.
Okay,
The
alhamdulillah.
more understanding of everything, and that really helped, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So apart from that, that is the only time I'll take it off, but every other time I would wear it, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, would you say that there's a difference between how sisters who wear the niqab get treated compared to sisters that wear the hijab? And that's like from the perspective of maybe from
Yes,
non-Muslims as well as Muslims as well.
yes, I definitely think so. Um, I think it also depends where you are, because I've noticed I've been in quite a few African countries. I've been to Botswana, in South Africa, and now I'm in Gambia. So I felt it was different in all those countries. In South Africa, sorry, in Zimbabwe, it felt really uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to lie. And I just had made a resolution that you know what, no matter what, I'm going to keep it on. But when I got to South Africa, it was totally different. Like even the regular non-Muslims would see you and it wouldn't be a big deal. Like, okay, she's dressed like this. Like, they would just treat you like, a normal person. Um, and it was totally comfortable for me in South Africa as well, because there they have also a very strong Islamic community in Cape Town in particular. I don't know about other parts of South Africa, but I was staying in Cape Town and there was like a good Islamic community there, and they understood Islamic dressing, and at times they would even greet you with salam, the non-Muslims. So alhamdulillah, I felt comfortable wearing the niqab there. And even when I'm in a non-Islamic setting and I'm in an Islamic setting, it was just I would feel it was really comfortable. I wouldn't feel any weird looks or anyone looking at me like like how I felt with the Islamic sisters back home. They wouldn't look at me like I'm trying to, like I'm better than them or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It was just normal. And also, when I go to Gambia, it's the same thing. I mean, they understand. There are a lot of sisters wearing niqab here, and
Alhamdulillah.
it's really amazing. I just the niqab. It's just there were also these big burqas a lot, and that also felt comfortable, because even back in South Africa, people wouldn't wear the big burqas a lot, and um it was something that was particular to Africans from Somalia and West Africa.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I felt, yes. So when I like wearing the big ones, because then it is like you're totally covered, that I feel
Yes.
really comfortable in them. So when I came here, it really felt comfortable, because you find someone wearing a big burqa from top to bottom, and that is really what I'm going for. So it felt really comfortable here wearing the niqab. So I guess it depends where you are, like really. But definitely in Zimbabwe, it was totally uncomfortable wearing the niqab, and even wearing the hijab in general. So now there was this other incident that I forgot to mention. I was going to like a fuel station. I was passing by. I wanted to get onto public transport, and I didn't have change. I didn't have coins for the transport, so I wanted to get some change. So I went by the fuel station to the fuel attendant. I was approaching him. Then he literally ran away from me,
Subhanallah.
and I was like, what? Like I stood there and I was amazed. Like I was surprised. Like, why are you running? And then I started laughing. So then when he saw me laughing, then he sort of like he calmed down, and then he started coming back slowly. And I'm like, why are you being so dramatic? What is it?
Mm.
Like I then
Subhanallah.
approached him and said, brother, what's wrong? And he's like, when I saw you coming, I just thought you were Boko Haram.
Wow.
Like really.
Subhanallah.
So for me, it was touching and at the same time funny. Like it was just funny. Like, why would you think that a random person is Boko Haram? You know, all
SubhanAllah.
these names they tried, you know,
Yes.
use to label us, you know? And I was just there, I was like, brother, I just came, I'm just looking for change. Do you have change for this? And then he's like, oh, okay. And then he gave me the change, and it's like he was now comfortable around me. Like he was genuinely scared.
Mm.
So yeah, that is one incident in Zimbabwe. But you don't get that much in the other countries that I mentioned, like in Botswana, I never got that. And even in South Africa and now in Gambia, you know, people know about you, people know people wear niqab, and it
Yes,
doesn't mean that they are terrorists,
of
you
course.
know.
Alhamdulillah.
So Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So have you ever experienced any kind of abuse or anything for wearing the niqab?
Not at all. Not at all. I feel I'm much more respected wearing a niqab, and I haven't, it's like, if at all, like people try to avoid talking to me in a disrespectful way.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever people talk to me, it's like in the most respectful way and also very politely. So even back home in Zimbabwe, um, when people would address me, even though yes, there are all these other things, but I would always be addressed in a respectful manner, and I would always be given preference. So when getting onto public transport, they'll say, okay, let the sister come in first, and then everyone else comes in. So Alhamdulillah, I was really grateful for that. And that is also one of the reasons why I was highly motivated to do it. So I haven't faced any, apart from, of course, you know, nasty comments here and there,
Mm-hmm.
that is back home in Zimbabwe. But everywhere else, it was just fine. I haven't experienced any kind of abuse, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So, what about like work and things like that? Have you had any kind of work experience wearing the niqab at all?
So I work online, and back home I was teaching at an Islamic institute.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go there wearing niqab, and I'll take it off as I'm teaching, because I was teaching sisters, so I'll take it off and I'll make sure the area is secure and stuff. So um now I'm teaching online and I teach kids. So what they had us do is to create a profile with our pictures on it, so that if the when the parent is trying to book for a lesson, they have an idea of the person that they are booking with. So I did have niqab on my
Okay.
profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
But when I now meet the student, as I'm arranging for the lesson, I make sure that the student is with their mom and there are no other men around.
Mm-hmm.
Because with kids, it's important for them to see your face. At least
Yes.
that's what I think. So when I'm now having my lessons with the kids, I remove my niqab, and that is one parent actually asked me, like, teacher, will you be wearing a niqab during the lesson? Because I just want to prepare my child to meet a niqabi, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just to explain to them. Then I was like, I know, during the lesson I take it off, so I have a better connection with the child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
that is basically how I go about it. Yeah.
Are you teaching Islamic studies to the children that you're teaching at the moment?
Yes, I do. I teach Islamic studies. I also teach Quran, and I do a bit of tutoring for maths and English as
Okay,
well.
mashallah, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. As but most of them, all of them are Muslim. So I think that is also another thing that like even the ones that are not like Quranic Islamic studies, they are Muslim students. So Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, how did you get involved with the online teaching?
Okay. I had just finished my degree at IOU,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just trying to, you know, find opportunities for myself, because I at the time that I finished the degree, I had small babies.
Okay.
So I had twin babies and I couldn't go
Oh,
out of the house
mashallah.
at all.
Yeah.
So I, alhamdulillah. So I felt stuck and I wanted to do stuff. I wanted to, just do stuff and not just sit home, and so I then tried to look for opportunities for any kind of online teaching, Islamic studies, Quran. And at the time, I started teaching with this academy called Quran Era. And Alhamdulillah, it was good. I started with one student, and it was something. It motivated me. It was a good thing. And now, Alhamdulillah, I have quite a few students. I have about 4 students now, Alhamdulillah. And
Alhamdulillah.
yeah, and it is quite a good experience for me because it's online and it's convenient, because when I just want to teach, I just come into a secluded place for 30 minutes and I have my lessons. And the good thing is they just have one lesson a week, so it's not too involving in terms of time. So now, Alhamdulillah, recently I then also started working with IOU, and when I'm just responsible for calling students and sending email, responding to messages and stuff like that. So I do all of that behind the screen. So even when I have a Google Meet call with them, I have the call without the video on. So that really is very much comfortable for me, because I'm working from home and all that. So Alhamdulillah.
That's mashallah, brilliant, barakallah, and especially having such a young family as well. You keep yourself very busy.
Yes, it's quite hectic. The kids, at times they'll be disturbing during the lesson. They'll be making some noises, but Alhamdulillah, it comes with it. So it's something that, of course, they're growing out of gradually. Yes. And I'm sure it will get better with time, inshallah.
Inshallah, alhamdulillah. So would you describe the niqab as being a barrier, and if so, in which sense?
Honestly, no. There are times when I was trying to make a LinkedIn profile, and at that time I was trying to experiment with web designing and programming. So I thought being on LinkedIn would really help with that. And I was thinking that, should I even put a profile picture, or should I put a profile picture and with niqab on, right? So I definitely didn't want to put a picture without niqab. So I was thinking, what if I put the one with niqab and no one wants to hire me because they see, oh, it's a Muslim, or it's a niqabi Muslim. Would they want to hire me? So it was just me thinking. But then I went ahead and put a profile picture of myself in niqab. And honestly, I was just surprised, because it was just, I just got, people accepted my requests and people requested me, and my LinkedIn profile grew it grew at a rate that I even didn't expect. So in as much as I had thought it was going to be a barrier, it actually wasn't. People were just looking at what I have or my skills, and not my picture as much. My picture wasn't a barrier at all for them. It wasn't it wasn't a deterrent for them. And they were just looking at what I have, like my skills. So it's like people on LinkedIn are there for business, they're not there to look at how someone looks like. So in that respect, it wasn't a barrier at all, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I've had similar experience as well, because I think when I started LinkedIn, I used to just put like a picture of like a flower or something that I've painted or something like that. And then I remember I'd seen, some sisters, like, I can't remember who it was, but yeah, I started seeing sisters that, they've put a picture of themselves with a niqab, and I was like, oh, so you can do that, like, because I hadn't really thought about it before, And then I did it, and then I noticed that even like I do get requests even from like non-Muslims, it's not just even Muslims,
Yes, so, yes, non-Muslims a lot, yeah. So it's really, it's motivating when it's like that, because then you think, oh, okay, at least people are just looking at what I have to
skill
offer
sets,
instead of,
yeah.
you know,
Alhamdulillah.
yeah, the skill sets. That is what's the most important. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Have you ever met any sisters who've been forced into wearing the niqab?
Mm, no, no, I haven't. I haven't. Um, I have though. Most in here in Gambia, um, were just brought up wearing niqab. So here in Gambia, there are like a lot of Islamic schools, like they call them daras.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them it's a requirement for girls that have come of age to wear niqab was coming to school. So in that regard, I wouldn't necessarily say that that would be a forcing because the student would make a choice to go to that particular
Of
school.
course, yes.
So then they would grow up, you know, and mature wearing niqab, and even as a family, most fathers would you know, encourage their daughters to wear niqab as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you find a lot of girls have grown up that way, at least what I've been exposed to. So Alhamdulillah, I think I haven't I haven't really I haven't really heard of anyone who has been forced to wear it.
Alhamdulillah. And what about sisters who would like to wear it but they're not allowed? Somebody's stopping them from wearing it.
Oh yes, I do have a friend. So this friend, or rather two people that I know, one is a friend. So they the friend of mine said that when she saw me wearing the niqab back home in Zimbabwe, she wanted to wear as well. So she even asked if I can give her a niqab, and I did give her one. And she liked it. She liked wearing it, and she was prepared to start wearing it with me. But at the time, her husband was not comfortable with her wearing it. She was like, you know, the hijab is enough. You can't really be wearing the niqab as well, you know. So because of that, she stopped wearing the niqab. But whenever the husband was not around, she would wear it and
SubhanAllah.
move around with me in niqab.
Wow.
SubhanAllah. So I think she just, if her husband had supported her, she would have definitely worn the niqab with
Mm-hmm.
me and probably grown in it. But yeah, that was a deterrent for her. And the other one also same thing. The husband was not allowing her to wear niqab. Though I don't know the reason why. She didn't say why. But they were just not allowed.
SubhanAllah. So when you started wearing it, like,
Yeah.
was your parents happy about it as well? Because you said your mum had always encouraged you to, wear loose clothing and things like that.
Yes, yes. I would say my mom was really happy about it because we both have grown in the, you know, wearing a proper hijab
Mm-hmm.
journey, because my mom was also a rebel to Islam around the time that my dad started being um started gaining knowledge about Islam and practicing more.
Alhamdulillah.
So we both grew in hijab, and my mom also is at the stage where she is wearing the long burqas now. So
Mm-hmm.
she was really happy that I was wearing the niqab. But for her, she's a teacher back home, so I think she raised the point of you know, it won't be acceptable at the workplace if I
Yes.
start wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she didn't directly say that she would like to wear it, but I'm sure that if situations were more conducive, she would also want to wear it, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Uh, my dad didn't really comment on it. I guess maybe he's happy about it, but he didn't really directly comment about it or discourage it. So,
Mhm.
alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So what advice would you give to other sisters who are thinking about wearing the niqab, but maybe they don't have the confidence to wear it?
I'll just say that they just have to try it out, you know, just like I did. I tried it out, and at times you just need to try it out in your comfort zone first before you go into the less comfortable place, you know. Try it out in Islamic settings first, try it out going to the masjid first. Try it out in Islamic circles around your Muslim friends or, you know, your Muslim um workmates, and just try it out and see how that goes, because it's a journey and it has been one for me. I'm still, I can't say I'm still fully comfortable in it, but definitely I love how I feel when I wear it. So I'm and I just resolved to continue no matter what. And inshallah, it will get to that point for me where no matter what, I don't even think about what setting I'm going to, and just, you know, wear it and, you know, own it. So just try it out and it will be a progressive journey, inshallah.
Inshallah, may Allah keep you steadfast. Ameen.
Ameen, ya Rabbal Alameen.
So, finally, sister, what does the niqab mean to you?
I feel like it's empowering, because people are not going to judge you based on how you look, but based on, you know, who you are, like what you have to offer as a person. And I think that is very important, because sometimes you get people being judged uh, just by how they look on, you know, how their face looks, what race they are, you know, because at times I'll get people thinking I'm another race when I'm in the club. So it's like they don't, they, you know, the race is not the first thing that they're going to notice about me, and then maybe judge me based on that. So I feel like it's empowering, because now people will actually listen to me first and then make a judgment, you know, as to whatever they're, if it's a skill that they want to analyze that I have, or maybe if it is something that they want to find out if I'm capable of, or how I speak, you know. They get to know me first before seeing me, or without even seeing me, they get to know me. And I feel that is quite empowering, because now I don't have to worry about all these other things, especially maybe the race issues. Like in South Africa, it was I thought there was a bit, just a tiny bit of that. But because of the niqab, I thought maybe it was sort of like a screen over that, and it felt more comfortable, alhamdulillah. So I definitely think for me, the niqab is empowering. Whenever I'm wearing it, I feel more confident, and I feel more proud, and I get treated in a good way, you know. So it's all positive for me. So alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, sister. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with the niqab today, and, you know, giving lots of valuable information. Barakallahu feekum.
Ameen wa iyyakum, sister. Wa feekum barakallah.
Inshallah. Have a blessed day, inshallah.
Same to you, sister. Thank you so much for having me.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.